This is Mongolian Mindset, and today we're going to be responding to Pharrell Jackson. We just typed him the other day, ISFP. So let's go ahead and get one of his requests in. Can you please type Johnny Depp? People say he's INFP, but I disagree because I have an INFP friend, so I know how INFPs are. So no way he's INFP, but I think he's ISTP. It would be appreciated if you type Johnny Depp, real personality. Okay, so we'll do it for you, man. But you guys know this Friday we do have the Mega Live in our group, and that's what we do once a month. We all get together on a call, Zoom, and we talk about our goals that we accomplished that month and the goals that we're hoping to accomplish the next month. It's a very motivational chat. We got a lot of new faces that are going to be in there this month. So if you want to be a part of that, all you have to do is click on the Facebook group and be ready. Friday 4 p.m. Eastern, and we're gonna do that. But you guys know our sworn enemy, personality database, has Johnny Depp, as he has said. Pharrell, like you said, INFP. Okay, you guys know we type with Linda Barrens metrics, with her interaction styles and temperament. Okay, so they got INFP with FI in the first spot, NE in the second spot, SI in the third or child. TE in the fourth spot. In the fifth spot, the opposing personality. Pick up on John Beebe's work. Goes more than 8 functions. If you aren't caught up on that, I just think you're a noob in typology. Like, come on, catch up. But in the fifth spot, the opposing personality would be FE, extroverted feeling. In the sixth spot, the critic would be introverted intuition. In the seventh spot, the trickster or the blind spot would be SE, extroverted sensation. And in the angelic demon function, the A spot would be TI. So let's get into it. See what we get, man. ISTP, huh? And we've noticed that 50% of our viewers are not subscribed. So if you could please subscribe and drop a comment. We're trying to work through some of these typings, but it is a lot. And you guys know we release at least 5 videos a week. So we're slowly trying to pump through them. But yeah, it's a process.
Last week about his latest role, his career, and his life. He just recently turned 50. Excerpts of that interview aired on CBS this morning. Here is my conversation with Johnny Depp in its entirety.
Thank you for doing this. It's good to see you.
It's great to see you, man, as always.
Tell me about this movie, and Tonto, and how you see him.
The film, I mean, when Gore,
That's a TE statement, so put a point out for TE.
Jerry Bruckheimer and I first sat down. I showed him some photographs that I'd taken, just on my own, with my makeup artist, Joel Harlow, and a photographer friend, as a kind of a test of what I believe the character should be, and I showed him to Jerry, and the film was dead in the water at that point. And
so he's saying a lot of I did this, I did that. That's usually SI. We're gonna keep going. Usually SINE. It's coming from a first-person perspective.
And suddenly, things started to come alive. Disney
Dead
was
in the water
excited.
because there was skepticism about.
I think dead in the water because
usually I think it's usually a TI statement. So don't put a point out for TI.
He just didn't want. I think at the time, prior to any of the budgetary dilemmas we ended up having, Disney at the time just. They had their, fingers in other jars.
This was before or after Pirates?
This was after Pirates.
Wow.
Yeah, after Pirates. And I just had this idea, I just saw this guy as this kind of very, interesting sort of warrior. And there was I saw a way to tip the cliche of the portrayal of Native Americans, tip that cliche on its head, just flip it around, and I strongly believed in it. And the great thing is that Jerry Bruckheimer, the folks at Disney, Gore Verbinski, when we all sat down, and the writer Justin Nathan, we sat down in our think tank, what's the story? First and foremost was these people must be respected. These Native Americans, these human beings need to be respected.
These people need to be respected. That's FE. These people need to be respected. Okay. social harmony there. It's gonna be FE.
They need to be treated with dignity, and that was first and foremost. And then the entertainment sort of part came later, you know.
But you remember watching Tonto as a child?
Oh yeah, was a big fan. You know, was a big fan. You know, watched the black and white series with Clayton Moore and Jay Silverheels, and loved it. But always, I mean, even at the ripe old age of 5, 6 years old, I was always somewhat perturbed at the idea of Tonto being a sidekick. You know?
And this is the time for you in this portrayal to rebalance that understanding of him and the relationship with the Lone Ranger.
Indeed. So that therefore the Tonto is really the kind of, in a way, the gravity of the movie, the gravity of the film, and he is in this film.
All right, so this guy's coming off informative. Okay, this guy's coming off informative. He's not direct, specific, concise, and to the point.
There would be no Lone Ranger without Tonto. So that's the kind of turn that we took.
Take a look at this. This is Rolling Stone magazine, but there you are.
There he is. Yeah.
There he is. And take a look at this. You know this photograph.
Yeah, that was the inspiration.
That was the inspiration.
That was indeed the inspiration. I saw that. I was kept thinking about the character, and
he said, I did this, I did this, I did that. He's come from an SI and E perspective. So I'm just going ahead and put a point down for that. But he's coming off like an SI and E user, and he's coming off informative. So being SI and E and informative, he'd have to be an NFP or NTP. Just knowing that. NTP, NFP. But let's keep going.
What's that image online?
Yeah.
And
and for real, if he's informative, he can't be an ISTP. ISTPs are direct, super direct too.
Immediately I was struck by the lines going down his face, because it appeared to me that as if the man had been cut into quarters.
Yeah.
And there were the various sections of the man, the personality, the rage, the damaged child, the this, the that, you know. So
you could see all that in the face.
That's what I felt, you know. And then I thought, oh, that's great, the bird's on his head. Oh, no, it's not on his head. You know, it's flying behind him. And I thought, well, it should be on his head, of course, you know. As his spirit guide, you know, as Tonto's sidekick, in a way.
Does he fit into other characters that you have portrayed?
I think so, yeah. I think so very much. I think there's a, you know, if there's one sort of monofilament.
See, he's very informative, yeah. Yeah, he's informative. Yeah, he's informative. 100%. John Depp's informative.
That you know, that connects them all. It's that.
Connects them all. That'd be any. Connects them all. All his characters are connected, so he's using extroverted intuition to connect them all.
Theme of, you know, what is considered normal, you know, what is considered outside, what is considered inside, what's considered strange, what's considered, you know.
Yeah, you have famously said what some people see as normal, you see as weird.
Most things that are considered normal and that are very well accepted in life, I'm fascinated by, because they just seem like odd things to me. You know.
Yeah, I remember when we first started talking about maybe 1998 or so. You said
that might be FE, and the reason why that's FE is because he's talking about social norms, and he's aware of them. As an FI users, they tend to care about their own morals or whatnot over the social norms. But FE users really care about the ethics, the social norms, that type of thing. Like you'll see an INTJ just like not even care about what social norms are or whatnot. ENTJ as well.
Most things that are considered normal and that are very well accepted in
he knows about social norms. So I'm gonna put a point down for TIFE, and he's talking about them.
Fascinated by it because they just seem like odd things to me. You know.
Yeah, I remember when we first started talking about maybe 1998 or so. You said you'd see your future as a character actor, and it's turned out quite different. I mean, you do characters, but you became this huge international star.
There was a fluke misspelling somewhere along the way that I wasn't involved in.
A deviation in the road.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened. That's TI again. Okay.
The good news is, I mean, certainly, once pirates hit the streets, life changed for a lot of people involved in that.
How did it change for you?
Well, I'd already had a kind of, I'd been around for a while, so, I was somewhat used to the loss of anonymity and the sort of,
that's T.E.
I suppose reclusiveness that goes
or
along
you
with
have
that sort of
said,
thing.
living life as a fugitive.
In a way, and that's really when it became apparent that things were radically different. That was when it was like every move, every time you left your house, especially with the kids or whatever, everything.
He's talking about. He's talking from his own experience. He's not talking about like what other people are doing. He's not going outside inward. He's going inward outward. He's an SINE user, and he's TIFE, and he's he's informative. So it's looking like he's an NTP, man. NTP.
Had to be strategized. It was almost like a, military strategy to get you from point A to point B.
Strategy, system. Okay. Talking about the system there.
Things were radically different. That was when it was like every move, every time you left your house, especially with the kids or whatever, everything had to be strategized. It was almost like a military strategy to get you from point A to point B, through the kitchen, down the stairs, and then somewhere along the line you realize, wow, it's really is not.
Will you at some point say no to all that?
I don't know if I can. I don't know if you can say no now. I think no is probably not an option anymore. I don't know,
But I would think this is the best time of your life right now. First of all, you've got your kids, which is the thing that's changed your life.
Yep.
And secondly, you can do what you want to do.
To some degree.
Pick and choose.
Yes. Yeah, to some degree. I think that even now, when presented with the image of Tonto, Disney were struck by them. But I think there was, I think that...
He think. He seems to be very clear with his thinking. Not referencing outside sources that much at all. Look like he's a TIFE user.
Into production, and they saw what was what I actually looked like really fully. I think that they were a little bit worried again.
They had more doubts.
And and that's sort of that. That's the kind of stimulus,
when people worry
for me. I find if
anything.
If somebody's a little worried about what I'm doing, then I think I might be doing it.
You must be doing something right.
Must be doing it right.
If they're not worried, you're worried.
Yeah, absolutely. If I don't see some sort of panic or fear near me, then I get worried.
Well, were you worried when you turned 50?
No, it was like, it was just a wake up, it's another day, and everybody makes a deal about, the idea of, 50, half a century and stuff like that. It felt like 40 to me. It just felt like another decade, really.
Yeah.
I suppose the only thing at 50 you can really start to look forward to is just total irresponsibility.
Irresponsibility or responsibility?
Total irresponsibility, yeah. As you get older, you can just sit in a chair, can't you? You can wear anything you want. You can walk down. Old people dress cool, they wear sweatpants.
He's talking about freedom there, so that'd be pragmatic. Okay, he said basically you can be irresponsible as you go into the future. Now it's a future focus as well, so it'd be abstract.
The elderly have it down.
Somebody once said to me, when I became 60, I used to care about what people thought of me. Now I only care about what I think of them.
Yeah, exactly. I remember Marlon distinctly saying, he reached a certain point in his life where he just finally was able to utter the words, "I just don't care." And the way he said it to me was like it was as if he attained nirvana.
What did he mean or does he mean to you, Marlon Brando?
Marlon Brando, he means everything to me. He was a great friend, a great mentor, a great teacher, a great father, one of the best friends, one of the funniest people I've ever known. And I was so lucky to be welcomed into his life. And again, like spending time with a person like Marlon, who has such wisdom, what's great is when you're with that person that you know is so special in your life, and you're aware of how special that time is. That's the great thing that I carry with me. But I think about him every day. Every day I hear him.
He worried a little bit about you working too hard.
Yeah.
He said what?
He said, how many films do you do a year? And I said, I don't know, it depends, maybe 3. And he said, too much. I said, what do you mean too much? He said, we only have so many faces in our pockets. And I thought,
you got it.
It makes sense, man. I guess, you run out of characters.
It makes sense. You run out of characters. That's T.I. again. It makes sense. So logical consistencies.
Yeah, but he did tell you to do Hamlet.
He did. He practically begged me to. He said, just drop out of Hollywood. Just walk away for a year. Just take off. Go to London. Study Hamlet. Play that part before before it's too late. Because he said, I never got a chance to play it. So it's one of those things that you ping pongs around in your head for years and years, and you do get to a certain point where you go, am I a little long in the tooth to play Hamlet now?
No. So when are you going to do it?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll play Marlon. When are you going to do it?
Exactly. I don't know, boy. It is that cliched dream of an actor.
You notice what I'm not getting from him? I'm not getting any outcomes from this guy at all. He's not talking about the end product at all. This guy, Johnny Depp, let me stop calling him this guy, but he's not talking about any type of outcome, end product at all. He's not saying, well, I want this, I did this. He's not looking at the end product at all. I haven't heard one outcome from this guy, and it's been 12 minutes in.
To play the Dane, it really is. It's one of the most beautiful.
All you have to do is tell them you want to do it.
They'd have to. The stage would have to be so far away from the audience at this point.
Hunter Thompson. What did he mean to you?
Again, everything. Very similar to Marlon, but from another angle, as you know, a very different angle, but wise and hilarious, and again, someone that I knew that time was very special.
What is clear with you that attracts or brings my respect? You care about friends.
Deeply, sure.
You're deeply loyal to friends.
Yeah.
And there's a certain strain that runs through them. I mean, they are real, authentic people who seem to march to their own drummer.
Indeed, yeah. I've been so blessed, in that sense, from, Marlon to Hunter to, my great friend Patti Smith, to my great friend Keith Richards, to Al Pacino. I don't know why I've been this lucky, but I have.
Are you still learning about acting?
Oh, I think you learn every time out of the gate.
I don't know why I got this lucky. So he's asking the question why. It's T.I.
I think that's the thrilling thing about the process, is that every time you're out there and you give it a shot, with a character that might make people a little nervous initially, especially people with their wallets involved. It's the process itself is a gas, and you're out there trying to do something different each time, because your main responsibility, I think, as an actor, aside from serving the script and the author and the director and whatnot, is to the audience, which is to not bore them. Try something different each time, and each time you try something different, you're stretching out a bit.
What's interesting is you find a hook too, and with Jack Sparrow,
try something different each time. I could say that's progression. Because you're just adapting to things. But I think we're pretty good saying this guy's progression, because he's not talking about any end products at all. He's not doesn't seem to care. Seems to care about the journey more than the outcome. So
Keith
was Keith was most assuredly one of the main ingredients in Captain Jack. Yeah.
With Tonto, it's this photograph.
Tonto, it's the photograph and the sort of idea of dissecting
The multifacets of it.
the multifacets of the man, the warrior, the child, the desperate need to avenge his dignity, his integrity,
It's also interesting how you prepare for a role. I mean, you're a big reader.
yeah.
Buried my heart, a wounded knee.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Sure.
all of that to inform you about the context of a character's life.
Just in terms of studying what, I mean, because it's a subject that I've been fascinated with for years. It's a subject that Marlon and I spoke about.
And he spoke at the Academy Awards.
Yeah. He sure did, in a very interesting way. It's been something in my life that's always been fascinating to me. So to really learn, when you read, say, Howard Zinn's People's History of the United States, and you realize that, the human beings that were here who were doing just fine before then, Columbus thought he'd hit India, and therefore called them Indians.
Right.
And we're still there.
And then there's Trail of Tears.
The Trail of Tears, the moving westward, the forcing these people off their rightful land, forcing these people to
I'm just getting FE crazy here.
abandon their ways and go to Christian church and dress up and wear tie. I mean, it was practically genocide. I mean, just a genocide of a people. And so when you have a character that in a film like The Lone Ranger has to carry that gravity, but at the same time
Carry that gravity.
entertain.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting tightrope.
I mean, it's possible that what happens on the screen with you in Lone Ranger, playing Tonto the way you do, trying to recreate the nature of the relationship with the Lone Ranger, recreate the warrior that he...
Think about that. Carry that gravity. I'd consider that's an SI statement.
That gravity, but at the same time entertain.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting tightrope.
I mean, it's possible that what happens on the screen with you in Lone Ranger, playing Tonto the way you do, trying to recreate the nature of the relationship with the Lone Ranger, recreate the warrior that he was, not some second banana, so to speak.
Indeed.
You may change the ideas of young people living on Indian reservations.
That's my hope.
Really?
That's my hope. That was really all of it for me. It was the idea is that if there's some way that I can come up with a character that's interesting enough to people, to kids especially, but to people, if I get 10 kids, 20 kids off a reservation who go, you know what? I didn't listen to the elders. I want to listen to the elders. I want to keep my heritage alive. I want my culture to live on, and I want to know my language. I want my language alive.
Talking about what other people want, that's NE.
If 20 kids grab hold of that and stick it in their pockets, I'm feeling good, because that is going to multiply and multiply and multiply.
That'd be the abstract. That'd be abstract, and that would also be FE because he cares about helping these people. So FE users tend to care about helping people like that. Like they get gratification from helping others, and that's what he's getting from it right there. That's why he wants to do it. So I mean, at this point, we know 100% Johnny Depp is informative. If anybody says he's direct, they need to be drug tested. So being informative, he can only be ESFJ. entp, esfp, and enfp. Okay, and then on top of that, isfj, infp, intp, and isfp. Okay, so you're looking at those 4 types, right? Okay, and then what we also got is that Johnny Depp is a TIFE user. He feels very confident in his thinking. He has his own logical, like, he cares about his internal logical framework first. He doesn't really care as much about outside sources. But there are some people, I mean, later in life, people who are very strong in like TI or TE, they can, cross-reference and stuff like that. So being a TIFE user, that eliminates, that would eliminate, ENFP would be eliminated, and ESFP would be eliminated. INFP would be eliminated, so he's not an INFP. They're TE users. And ISFP. So those are eliminated because he's not a TE user. So he doesn't seem to be talking about achievements or anything like that, or what's important to him or anything like that. He seems to be like focused on making other people happy. So he's a TIFE user. We noticed that between the TI and the FE statements, kind of combine them together. So he's either ISFJ, INTP, or ESFJ and ENTP. Okay, all 4 of those are SINE users, and we did pick up that Johnny Depp is an SINE user. The part that is kind of odd is he's not really initiating that much, but he's not saying any outcomes in product. So we'd be down to ESFJ or ENTP. Like, he's not talking about end products at all. I think like maybe the only end product he just talked about was like the cycle of helping these kids kind of want to identify with their heritage. That's pretty much it, man. And that's what, 18 minutes in.
Didn't listen to the elders. I want to listen to the elders. I want to keep my heritage alive. I want my culture to live on, and I want to know my language. I want my language alive. If 20 kids grab hold of that and stick it in their pockets,
that's abstract.
I'm feeling good, because that is going to multiply and multiply and multiply, and it's good.
Self-image is everything.
So I'm hoping that kids will be able to feel that. Yeah, I'm not what they've said about me for the last 200 years. I'm not lesser than.
Okay. So he's talking about what other people feel, that also be FE related. You know how other people feel, what people feel, that's FE.
I'm a warrior, and that's then I think I did my job all right.
What have kids meant for you?
Kids?
Your kids?
My kids? Everything.
What do you mean?
Everything. They've certainly made me grow up, that's for sure.
Really?
Yeah, well, they made me.
You mean take responsibility, or?
Well, no, just as they sort of progress throughout life, and my son, my boy Jack, is now 11. Yeah. My daughter Lily Rose is 14. You start getting hit with some very interesting situations in life, as a parent, when they approach that teenage arena.
Now you see how informed this guy is? Like,
because you still have memories of that age and the things that you might have been doing at that age. So, you
and you lay awake thinking, God, I hope they don't do what I did.
Oh God, I know, but please don't do what I did.
Yeah, but I mean, it really does make getting up in the morning for you.
Absolutely. No, I learn from them every day. There's such wisdom in those children. In that, I mean, look at the life that they've led. My children have had to live like fugitives, in a way. I mean, I'm not.
The paparazzi's there.
The paparazzi's always there. My daughter goes shopping, and the paparazzi are all over. That's an ugly thing. If it's on me, I'm not going to complain, because look, I'm here in the ring. But the kids didn't ask for it, But I learned from them, because the way that they deal with it is, it's no big deal, Dad.
Yeah.
don't worry about it. You know, they're so grown up about it. While I'm raging, you know, they're like, don't worry about it. Yeah.
The other calming
See,
influence.
FE people tend to want to take on other people's needs as their own. You'll see that a lot with FE users. They want to take on other people's like needs as their own. That's why he said he was raging about it. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they got, I mean, you could explain and talk to them in you know, the split from their mother and having to come, which is always unpleasant regardless of what happens.
Always. But they, I mean, my kids, and Vanessa, by the way, you know, I mean, it was a very sort of calm moment because we'd arrived at a place, as people do, where there's no room, when you have children, there's just no room for lies. There's no room for anything but the truth. It's not
T.I. people really care about like the truth, you know, pursuing the truth. If you watch the Jordan Peterson video, he talks about that as well. Don't tell a lie.
Anything other than that is a bad example, I believe. So, I mean, obviously you know, there are ways to smooth things out, but I mean, we were just very truthful with them, and they were incredibly understanding, incredibly accepting, and
love you both,
and very grown up about it, and understand that there's no love lost anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just the way things. This is life. This is a part of life, and and I was extremely proud of them. You know, the way they dealt with it.
Music too.
Where's the
I
outcomes?
think of you as a guitarist.
Where's the outcome?
Patti Smith did that wonderful music. Wherever I go, there's a guitar.
Yeah.
Music is what you wanted to be.
It still is my life. It always was. It's just I just don't do it for a living anymore, you know. But music for sure was and it still is my first love. And it's funny because it's just been over the last couple of years where I've started to have the opportunity to play more and more, whether it's on a friend's record or you know, get invited to go and play a show with someone, do a few songs. It's all started happening in the last couple of years, and it's been a gas because it's my natural habitat, really, you know, is to have a guitar strapped to me.
Yeah, but when you played, you didn't want to be the vocalist, you wanted to be the man in the shadows.
I wanted to, exactly. When I was, you know, playing clubs at, you know, 15, 16, 17 years old, even then, I was, you know, trying to stay out of the lights, you know, tried to stay in the darkness. And just play my guitar.
Now, is any of that still part of who you are? The sense of
most definitely.
Really?
I still, you know, and you know, the idea of being that lead singer, you know, being the front man, to me, when you're in a group or a band, is
so you'd rather be Keith than Mick?
I'd rather be Keith than Mick, indeed. Yeah, that's what it boils down to. No disrespect, Mick.
Yeah.
None whatsoever.
Exactly.
None whatsoever.
It'd be a good vocalist. It's fine with me. I just want to be back there.
Great. I can't do that. Don't want to. Yeah.
So look ahead at 50 to where the priorities are. What are they?
I think, you know, now in this, you know, if 50, let's say, you know, the start of a new decade, I think, you know, the goals are a little bit more based, maybe slightly more
You see that he's struggling with the goals? He's struggling with the TE.
selfish in a sense.
You know, TE user would have spit them goals out.
Not selfish, but that search for a little more freedom here and there, maybe a little less.
Freedom is pragmatic. Remember, when you're pragmatic, you tend to want freedom. Gives you the best opportunity to be effective. It also leads to a little bit of rebellious, independent. He's not.
A little less work, a little more time with the kids, you know, a little more freedom, a little more time off. Just
more space.
More space.
Pragmatic people love that freedom. So yeah, it's looking like he's an ENTP, man. Looking like he's an ENTP. You guys are fascinated with ENTPs. Leonardo DiCaprio, Johnny Depp. Who else is it? Malcolm X, and who else? Kevin Samuels, and who else do we have? Andrew Tate.
More ability to, breathe and not,
Penn Badgley.
have to be the novelty.
What's interesting about you, too, you work with directors more and more. I mean, how many Tim Burton and you have done?
7 or 8, I think, yeah.
In this film, the director,
Gore Verbinski.
I
think it might be our fifth
or sixth, yeah. What is that about? Just simply finding a place, a zone, a comfort?
Just, it just so happens, the relationship between Tim and I, over the past 20-something years has...
Try a different one. That was like boring as shit. Let's try this one.
Fun at the movies this summer, non-zombie fun at the movies this summer. You should go see The Lone Ranger, starring Johnny Depp as Tonto. It opens July 3rd. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Johnny Depp. Here we go. All I really want to talk about is Tonto, but first of all, have you had your birthday? You're getting ready to have your birthday. How old are you?
I've had my birthday.
And you are?
They tell me I'm 50.
50 years old.
Yeah.
Well, you look great, you look youthful, and more importantly, you look cool.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And being 50... It's supposed to be a landmark, but having gone through that myself, it doesn't really mean anything, does it? Does it mean anything to you?
Absolutely nothing, no.
Yeah.
No, it's just another decade gone by.
Right.
The only, maybe the thing that one can look forward to when you reach 50 is a future that's slightly more irresponsible.
She said this before.
More irresponsible.
More irresponsible.
People will allow you that because you're older?
Well, they accommodate the elderly at times, No one say, one day I'll be able to wear my pants up to here.
Well...
He said this shit before.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, one day, what about today?
I might as well start now.
Yeah.
Excuse me a minute.
Now, other cultures revere old age. I'm not sure that applies here in the United States.
You've been to Miami recently?
Yeah. Everybody at my age has a story about, oh, Mom, what are we going to do? Mom, oh, Dad, what are we going to do with Dad? And nobody really wants that project. It's sort of sad, isn't it?
No, keep them drunk. I would say.
Keep the old folks drunk.
Keep them loaded.
Now you talk about being more irresponsible as you grow older. Was there a time in your life when you were just crazily irresponsible?
Yeah. When I was younger. Because I'm incredibly responsible now.
No, sure. But when you say irresponsible, police involved?
At times, yeah. I did meet a few policemen here and there, and I was given a tour of custody suites and such.
Custody suites?
Yeah, former that was pragmatic, break rules. Okay.
None of my business. Did you mind if I asked what the infraction was, the violation?
One was I made a gaggle of paparazzi walk backwards down a London street with a plank of wood in my hand.
Oh my God, Paul! Did you hear this?
I'm shocked, Johnny.
No, this is wonderful.
He wouldn't do that.
This is wonderful.
He wouldn't do that.
You took after him like a 2x4 and backed him off down an alley.
Yeah, it was more like a 4x4.
Oh, now I I'm really shocked.
He chased paparazzi with a 2x4.
Oh, that's not what we found.
What were you charged with, for the love of God?
Assault, attempted assault,
Yeah.
Various, infractions that I didn't quite understand.
Now, I know this is irresponsible of me, but nice going.
Thanks very much. It had to be done.
It had to be. You had to take the law into your own hands.
Somebody had to do it.
Let's talk a little bit about the kiddies. I remember years ago, before I had my son, you described, I think, one of your kids at the time, I think it was about 3 years old,
Yes.
as like living with a drunk.
Yeah.
Have they gone beyond the drunken behavior stage?
They've gone beyond the tiny drunk stage, and they've entered into a whole new arena. My boy Jack is 11, and very just simple, low key,
Solid?
Yeah. One word texts. Yep. Nope. Same. That kind of thing. And that's the boy. And then my daughter Lily Rose is now 14. And 14.
And
Teenager.
What the fuck does that mean?
beyond the age difference, is there a behavioral difference?
Well, I mean, at our very base, I think men are relatively, we're simpletons, really.
At our base, he went on the TI one day.
We really are. And girls are infinitely more complicated and brilliant, and they know how to maneuver and sort of manipulate dad to the umpteenth degree.
Are you, having said that, are you in a good space now with your daughter? Things good now? Things
Oh, wonderful, yeah. No, perfect. She's
surprises along the way, though.
Just the things that a father fears. Some greasy little horror showing up at your door.
Some greasy little horror showing up. Yeah, that's right. We'll be right back here with Johnny Depp, ladies and gentlemen. And it comes time for action adventure. On the screen, it looks complicated and impossible, not just to shoot and create, but how is it written in the script? Does it just say, okay, now fill in some time here with action adventure, or is it carefully written out in the script?
Carefully written out in the script.
So somebody has to imagine it, write it down, and then the director has to do it.
Indeed, yeah. No, those enormous action sequences in the film were dreamt up by Gore Verbinski and the writer Justin Hayth.
It's crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And here's another question for you. I think I was on that train or near that train that some of the movie takes place in.
Do you reckon it?
Yeah. Was that in Colorado? Did that train exist in Colorado?
It did exist in Colorado, actually. Yeah, but most of it was done in New Mexico, and great heat.
Was the river? Did that really exist, or was that a computer river?
No, the river was.
No, where was that river?
That was somewhere between Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, somewhere in there. I've lost track.
It looked like a river, I know. Was it the Animas River?
I really don't know. However, it was wonderful.
Thanks a lot, Tonto. Okay, so now,
Rio Grande? I don't know.
Might have been the Rio Grande.
Yeah.
And what about the trestle that comes down? That never existed, or did it exist? Or should I have not said that?
I don't know. I'm not. There's two things that I have a problem with. One is I never read screen direction, which is the stuff that tells you what to do.
How can that be possible?
Well, I'd rather not know what they want me to do. I'd rather just figure something out.
So you're just...
That's progression there. That's progression, okay? Okay, that's progression. Just figure it out on the fly. Progression. But we know he's progression. He's an ENTP, guys. Watch like 3-4 more minutes.
Kind of just guessing at
Well,
what
that's
they
progression.
No, I'm just sort of winging it at what I want.
Winging what I want, progression.
want. It's worked so far. Why do... But now, let's talk about
That, in the moment, progression.
as beloved as the Lone Ranger is, there was always something not right about the part of Tonto, how he was portrayed. This has been rectified in this movie and documented.
He's not talking about how to control the situation. He's not talking about the outcome. You know, he's like, just let it happen. I'll figure it out. So he's got like a basic plan, and then he's going with it, going with the flow, adapting. So yeah, that's progression.
The character of Tonto, tell us about what went into the creation of that character with regard to Native Americans.
Well, I mean,
so like progression people tend to have like loose plans, as in like an outcome person has a hardcore plan. You'll notice like INTJs have a host of backup plans, while ENTJ has one like plan they're going after. That's outcome versus progression.
Since I was a kid, I was a very little kid watching, you know, the Lone Ranger series on TV, and
talking about his experience.
I always had a fascination with the series and loved Jay Silverheels. Loved the series, but I was always sort of perturbed somehow by the fact that Tonto was thought of as the sidekick. It just never.
Kind of the errand guy, really.
He cut him off, but he was about to say it never made.
You know, and,
he said he was about to say it never made sense to him. T.I.
So it's been something that I've felt very passionate about for a long time, and the idea that Native Americans have been misrepresented horribly throughout the history of cinema and television. So I thought it was a great opportunity to flip that cliche on its head.
Damn, I feel like he just said the same shit. He was going on shows saying the same shit. The fuck, bro? Stop being systematic. Give us some different shit. Okay, we'll watch a little bit of this, just a little bit. Let's see what we got from Johnny Depp.
Films and then playing music. The one thing about music is that it's immediate. I mean, it's instant, and it's there's one take, right? You know, so it's all about sort of trying to deliver something, some feeling to the audience, in which they, in return, give something back. So that happens in a very immediate way, and in cinema. When you're working on a film, you know, when you're working on a set, essentially you do the bit, you know, you do your work and you explore various possibilities.
What various possibilities? That's NE again, NE, in abstract.
Of the scene, so that you kind of covered all bases in terms of giving options to the filmmaker, you know.
Giving other people options, that's NE.
And in that, once the scene is done, and once the film is done, it's, I sort of feel like it's none of my business what happens after, you know.
Is that in a way, because the way that you explained it and described it, is that in a way frustrating? That maybe the response that you get playing music up on stage is, as you've been saying, it immediate, and with the movie you can't really tell afterwards.
Yeah, because I mean, as I said, it's immediate, so there's an immediate exchange with the audience when you're playing, and you're communicating through notes and lyrics and such. On a film, you're in the trenches. You do the work. You know that you've committed yourself to doing, and then the reaction, let's say, of the audience comes about a year later when the film is done in the cinemas. So at that point, it's like, you know, that's long gone. So all I have is the memory and the experience.
Memory, experience, that's SI.
Or making the film. So I just walk away with that experience, and that's
walk away with that experience, SI.
I'd rather not. I don't know. I'd rather not see my stuff because it's just makes me uncomfortable, you know.
Uncomfortable.
I don't like watching myself.
Yes,
I think
It's
some
hard
of
to
them have
shave in the
watched your
morning,
stuff
actually.
plenty of
Initiate
times.
it.
Johnny, you know, talking about acting, you know, keeping that in mind, that you say that the response is immediate playing music, what triggers your interest when it comes to scripts and characters? Because if you look at the variety of characters that you've played, it's just amazing what you have done. But what does a script or movie or producer or scriptwriter need to bring to you to get your interest?
You like to, I mean, it's you want to be surprised by something. You want to be surprised. You look for something that's not necessarily based on something that's.
And if you notice right there, he was saying you want, not I want to be surprised. You want. So he's talking about what other people want. That's NE as well. So yeah, I mean, we kind of beat this dead, but we wanted to make sure that we got this right. Fucking hate ENTP sometimes.
Altogether, you look for a character that someone has painstakingly written and offered you to play. So that's really what I get from it, is the actual work, you know, the actual, diving into the character, locating the character, building a character, and trying, if at all possible, to do something, at least to try to do something that maybe hasn't been done to death, you know, that's maybe just a bit different. There is a bit of, you know, peril in that. I mean, but I think that that's also something that's incredibly important for an actor. I think that to walk in and do the sort of same thing every time, every film, you know, every character is a sort of this version of yourself, and they are versions of me, all these characters, but
they are all versions of me. To NE. And probably, I guarantee you, those guys he plays in movies are ENTPs. Guarantee. I don't know why, but actors generally play their freaking personality. I don't know what it is. I went back and I looked at you, and Penn Badgley plays an ENTP in you. Like, he's an ENTP. He's always trying to help people. He actually gets in trouble by using FE child too much. Always running to help people. As in, if he was an INTJ, he'd be caring about his own needs, how he feels, and he's always sacrificing himself for other people. ENTPs do that a lot.
To go in and, I think one must tempt the possibility of
Talking about
falling
possibilities.
flat on your face, you know?
Abstract.
So taking risks.
And
is
NE.
important in a
Yeah, I
sense.
think if you don't explore fully, commit yourself fully to the character and to the director's vision and to your vision and the author's vision, you owe that. I feel that I owe it to the people, you know, to try something different, because I'd hate to bore you, you know. So if I don't try something that could be potentially disastrous, I don't feel like I'm doing enough of the work, you know. I prefer when studios are scared.
Okay, you know, I have an example for studios being scared. Let's pick one particular pirate, and Captain Jack Sparrow. I mean, you could have played him like a typical hero pirate, but you made him into this crazy, surprising...
Was he crazy? I don't know.
A great character. And there have been legends about, you know, what Disney thought about it when you first stepped on set. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about how you went in creating Captain Jack Sparrow, and how it went sort of from that.
The initial thing, I mean, Captain Jack was written in the original screenplay. It was just written as a kind of swashbuckler, you know, just you kind of, you know, pirate who swings in, sword fights a little bit, and then, you know, swings out, grabs a girl, and that's it. And then I had different ideas for him.
No shit, you had different ideas from any user. Damn, any user. You got a ton of ideas. All right, we're done here. Johnny Depp's ENTP, man. I just want to watch a couple different interviews to make sure, because you know they can be you know a little tough sometimes. But what we noticed out very early on was that he was informative. Being informative eliminates 8 types. It's 8 direct types. It's 8 informative types. If he's informative, he can't be direct. Okay, so that means the ESTJ, ENTJ, ESDP, ENFJ are eliminated. The ISTP, ISTJ, INTJ, INFJ are eliminated off rip right there. Okay, and then what we noticed was he's a TIFE user. So he has his own internal logical framework. He seems very confident in his thinking. He's not referring to outside sources. He says, I think this, and he takes his time to articulate himself in the right manner. And he cares about like helping people, takes on other people's needs. So TIFE, that eliminates 4 other types. That means he'd only be a SFJ or a NTP. With him being SFJ and NTPs are both SINE users, and he talked about that where it'd be multiple possibilities, giving people choices, knowing what other people want, or talking about his SI experience, talking from a first person perspective. So he's an SINE user, and with him being abstract, that makes him either a ENTP or an INTP. Okay, and what we also noticed was that he was pragmatic as well. Pragmatic just means like they independent. They like the freedom. They don't like when roles are assigned to them. He's just not going along with the group. He's systematic, obviously, but with ENTPs it's a little bit harder to see. INTPs you'll see it like they're very systematic, but he's progression and not outcome. Okay, and because he's progression, that makes him an ENTP. If he was outcome, he'd be an INTP. And outcome just means they're looking at the end product, or they're trying to get like some type of control over things. Like they're trying to really control and plan about what they're going to do before they do it, because they only want to do it like one time. As in when you see Johnny Depp talking about, you know, I don't even want to know what they have for me. You know, I just want to get in there and act and react to things. And that's more of a progression mindset than an outcome. Okay, because if you're looking for a desired outcome, you're getting in it for something, you know. As in him, he's not doing that. So he's an ENTP. You're close with ISTP. I mean, that's progression in TIFE, but he's not direct. So yeah, and he's not INFP. INFPs would be talking about TEFI. We hear so much FI, it would be obnoxious because they're FI heroes. So you're gonna hear that, and they would be very affiliative. INFPs are very affiliative. So yeah. Personality database, you got this wrong because you have him as an INFP. This man's an ENTP, but yeah, he's a tough one. He's a tough one. But yeah, it's Mongolian Mindset, and we're out. And thank you again, Pharrell Jackson. Yes, sir. All right.